This is the Breakfast Club with Nick and Jackie on Rodney's More FM. Very pleased to be joined in studio by the legal team. Richard, Worker and Jess are here for all of your legal needs on the show today, as long as it just aligns with our next following question, Jack.
Exactly. So Richard, here it is. My mum is going into a rest home and the home needs an enduring power of attorney. Mum doesn't have one and the doctor says she doesn't have capacity to sign one. What do I do?
Yeah, so all these rest homes, good question, but all these rest homes do require to have an enduring power of attorney because they don't want to be stuck having to make decisions. So it's a requirement that they have it's just a policy, and it's a sensible policy. However, if you're moving in and you haven't got capacity, then there is an issue there. And I'll bring in Jessica here, who does this. It's under the PPPR Act, and she'll explain that. So she does a number of applications here. So yep, if you take over, Jess.
Thank you, Richard. So in terms of powers of attorney, they're just so important, and this illustrates why. When you get to the point where you need them, it's just too late, because if you've lost capacity, if a doctor says you've no longer got the mental capacity to sign documents, make decisions, you can't put an enduring power of attorney in place. So as Richard said, it's an application under the Protection of Personal and Property Rights Act. We call it the PPPR for short.
I see why.
Yeah, a bit of a mouthful there. So there are two court applications that would need to be made. Firstly, in respect of your personal care and welfare type, so that's called your welfare order. And the second is in relation to your property, and there are two levels for the property. There's the property administrator, which is a relatively straightforward application, and then the other one is a property manager. That's where people may have over the cap of assets that's permitted. Good news is that it's recently become easier to get a property administrator order. The government were way behind in updating the law. So until recently, anybody who was receiving a benefit or superannuation immediately and automatically over the cap. You had to go for the property manager order, and it involves reporting back to the court, dealing with the public trust, auditing financial statements. It can just be a heck of a job for somebody who's just trying to deal or care for a sick parent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the change this year has been from the 1st of October. The cap for income has raised to $38,500, and it's going to go up annually thereafter, and the person has to have less, so any one item of property has to be less than $25,000. If you own a house, it's obviously going to be over that, but if you've got minimal assets, you still can come in under this property admin order. Now, in terms of the applications, they can be relatively straightforward, but you need your lawyer involved. They're pretty paper intensive. Best if everybody in the family is on the same page. Where it gets complicated is where a family member doesn't agree with the appointment of the attorney, or they want their day in court as well. Right. So everybody who's affected has to be notified. They've got to give their consent, and the court will appoint a court lawyer to act for the person who's lost capacity as well. Relatively friendly process. They're not going to give them the fifth, eighth degree. They'll go in and be sensitive to the situation. So in terms of those applications, we do them frequently, do them for all sorts of people, all sorts of situations. We do them for younger people as well, who may never have had capacity. Maybe they had condition like Down syndrome, and they've now reached adulthood, and all of a sudden they're at the age where technically they're legally an adult. They've just not got the ability to make those decisions for themselves. So it is going to require a court application. Your friendly lawyers can help, come in and get some advice, but it's not a major, but it does highlight enduring powers of attorney. Make them while you can.
And yeah, that's exactly right. The key to it is to do an enduring power of attorney while you can, because you don't have all those reporting jobs that you have to do. With an order under the court, under the PPPR Act, you have to account to the court. You have to file with the court, and honestly, it becomes a major. So if you can have an enduring power of attorney, if you can encourage your parents or whatever to get enduring powers of attorney, great idea.
And the last catch with these orders is they're only granted for 3 years. So you'll get an order for 3 years and then it's got to be renewed. So you go through the process again. Sometimes you'll get a sympathetic judge and you get it for 5, but no longer than that.
Ooh. Man, that's fascinating. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for your time. I think it's the difference between getting it done now and it's being a super simple thing, or turning into like a 2-season succession type situation.
Huge cost differential as well. If you can do it now, get it done. It's a quarter of the price.
Okay, great. The legal team, thelegalteam.co.nz. Go see them online, or you can go into Silverdale and see them in person. But thank you so much, Richard and Jess, for your time this morning.
Thanks for having us. Brilliant. Nice
Thank
to be
you.
here.